startup, how do you cultivate and build culture for innovation?
I think the first step for that starts with hiring the right people, in my opinion, right? So, as a startup, right, you have a very small team to begin with, right? And I'm again, we would still be categorized as an early stage startup, right? So when you're in an early stage startup, I think getting the right people on who are truly who also believe equally in changing the status quo of the problem statement that you're working on, right? So that's probably the biggest fitment I would kind of do to fit a person who we are recruiting, right? And in fact, me and my co-founder would joke that, hey, our recruitment process is even more stringent than the joint entrance exam by IIT because we screen through so many resumes, probably thousands of them to recruit like five people, right? And it used to be like a pretty long process, right? And and whoever kind of came through that entire process of grueling process, we knew for sure they like the vision of this company, right? So because other people would kind of say, this is you're making me do too much. I don't want your job, right? So they'll run away, right? But that's what we did, right? And so basically, the first step is to kind of having the right people who actually are equally passionate about the problem that you're trying to solve, right? Because without the appreciation of the problem that you're trying to solve, they can't give you ideas or they can't innovate, right? That's number one. And number two, I wouldn't say whether it was the circumstances or the process that we set in, but now it's become a process. But earlier on, we kind of always once in 6 months or once in a few months, we would me and my co-founder would go back to the team and say, hey, what if you had $1 million now, right? And what if we didn't have the legacy of whatever we've done so far? What would you do with GoFloaters now, right? So we would kind of put this back as a question to our team and ask them, I give you $1 million. So resources is not a constraint, right? So basically you can kind of create a big white canvas for yourself. But the problem statement is still being the same. What would you do differently? Or how would you approach this problem now? Because you now have this last 6 months of learning from whatever you've done so far. And a lot of things don't work and a few things work. So we constantly kind of went back to the drawing board, so to say. And here also, like each team member would pitch to the rest of us. Everybody got the same vote, and we'll vote on the idea. We'll kind of do a casting of votes and say, if 5 people like this idea, 2 people like this idea, 3 people like this idea, and all that, right? And then we'll choose the top 2 and do a little bit more analysis on the data points, the business feasibility of that idea, right? Should we do that along with GoFloaters, or should that be whatever, right? Should that be a side project? So that's how we kind of, and again, like I said, it was not a conscious effort. We were thrown into those valley of deaths, so to say, right, in our journey, that we had to constantly think, hey, we are now stuck with this problem. How do we come out of it, right? So tell me.
So they say that necessity is the mother of all inventions, right, and innovations. So right. Here is the situations which has put you in that spot where you had to innovate, and that becomes a habit.